My name is Wayne Shipman. This is one of the story topics from my book not yet published. Topic: People want to know how to help the homeless. Whenever I am asked to give advice about helping those in poverty, I suggest certain things that I have observed and discovered by trying. The average person does not have a desire to become devoted headlong into a homeless outreach program or dedicate themselves to something so demanding that it becomes a ritualistic duty. Perhaps it is best to first decide what sort of help is practical for someone's personal resources, such as offering donations, doing volunteer work, or becoming involved in civic activities. Spend sufficient time in research because every city and community has specific needs, and then dedicate time and attention to your own personal interests. Here are some useful tips. Typically, the first idea that comes to mind when someone is wanting to help a person in poverty is what should they buy or how much money should they give away. My advice is be creative and think unconventionally, because money is the greatest thing when it's in the right hands, but there are so many other very important ways to help. The main thing to take into consideration is to evaluate the reasons why you wish to help the homeless and what do you privately want to happen as a result. If you are hoping to find someone that needs assistance and you wish to feel a sense of charity and goodwill toward others, then random acts of kindness will indeed offer you that sense of private benevolence. But if you wish to have a role in helping someone actually end their homeless situation, you would likely need to be involved at a greater capacity than merely giving away something useful to homeless strangers. As I have observed by carefully watching people's reactions in public, most random acts of kindness are initiated impulsively and completely at random, but it seems to have a greater effect when someone deliberately plans to encounter a specific homeless person and help them periodically over a longer period of time. The most definite way to help someone in poverty is by helping the local charities that provide services for them, or to become involved at some capacity with the city agencies that deal with homeless issues in the community. It is equally satisfying and important to attend a public council meeting or a city hall conference as it is to give needful things to homeless strangers. By better understanding what is happening behind closed doors at City Hall, we will better understand how to help out on the streets. The Internet and local news publications will always have a wide variety of public events for the homeless, which can lead into very fulfilling opportunities, and perhaps this is the best way to determine how to offer resources and assistance for things of personal interest. The absolute best advice for helping a stranger on the street is to use intelligent discretion and be sure to evaluate what is practical and reasonable. Consider a money gift as something given away without regrets and without concern for what they may spend it on. If it is truly a gift, do not become burdened with a self-imposed responsibility for how it will be used, because the giver should feel privately enriched. The only way to achieve this sort of blessing by giving something away is to cheerfully give away the responsibility that comes with it. If there is a feeling of doubt, the best solution is to wait for a better opportunity. The absolute worst thing to do is become confrontational, openly rude, or lecturing to a homeless stranger, because it is tempting fate for the unknown. Gift certificates in place of cash money are a good alternative because they must be used for specific purchases or at specific establishments. Another common practice is to buy local public transportation tickets and give them away in place of cash money, but make sure they are not limited for use on same day of purchase. Many times, a weekly or a monthly transportation pass can make it possible for someone to get around town for important errands or keep a job without sacrificing the only cash they have on hand. Make contact with some of the local charities and find out, do they take donations for quality backpacks, socks, jackets, feminine sanitary napkins, and hygiene supplies, and also ask what is the most important and frequently needed donations in their communities, because like I said, each community has different needs. Many local churches have outreach programs that directly supply things to the homeless in their areas, and they gladly accept donations from people whether or not they are members. The greatest impact charitable donations can have is when they are provided to the groups that literally travel to a location and selectively offer things to homeless people in need. These are some of the most sincere and dedicated people that consider the act of traveling and engaging in conversation as they randomly meet homeless people out on the streets as a sort of important duty. My personal favorite recent activities is to ride with a small group and give away things directly from a cargo van or a small passenger bus. Such things as sack lunches, dry socks, clothing appropriate for weather conditions, backpacks and all sort of handy tote bags, makeup containers, sanitary napkins, common medications over the counter, inexpensive MP3 players, good condition batteries for small electronics, art supplies, dog leashes, pet collars and common pet supplies, and this list can actually go on and on. This method of giving away things offers the chance to meet people that need specific items, rarely found in donation centers, and the opportunity to follow up with someone repeatedly over a longer period of time. This kind of involvement inevitably can lead to connecting with individuals that may be desperately searching for a mentor or just a real friend that can keep in contact periodically, and this is ultimately the most effective reform. However, the best way to succeed in mentoring a homeless person is to receive guidance and mentoring for how to do it. Never, never, never bring someone to your home or place of business unless you are completely confident it is safe to do so. There are so many stories of robbery and theft by trusting a stranger that seems so pleasant and trustworthy. Many times it is not the visitor committing such crimes, but they innocently tell some friends about their visit, and the friends go on an unsolicited shopping spree. But realistically, most average people in desperation would have very little guilt over swiping a piece of jewelry or something that appears insignificant, like a unique pocket knife for instance, not concerned that it had very significant sentimental value to the owner, never to be replaced. The most common occurrence between two people, one being a well-intending mentor or friend, and one being a homeless person expressing the want for mentoring and friendship, is the personal letdown if they cannot fulfill their verbal promise of responsibility and commitment. The mentor friend spends quality time and usually their finances and dedicates special help for someone and find out they are still doing the dope and booze, or they just lost interest in making the effort overall. We can never truly know who will keep their end of the bargain and who will dash our hopes in the end, and the only thing we can really do is trust our heart and just keep trying. There are people of every age, nationality, and unique personality type imaginable out there, hoping, wishing, and even praying for something they need. Runaway teens that act confident and proud in front of their peer groups, but secretly they are scared for their very lives out there in the real world. Pregnant women of all ages that have special needs, and many of them are so uncertain and afraid they are contemplating giving up as a mother-to-be. Men, women, and youth that are falling into the temptations of booze and drugs just because they are so alone that sobriety does not matter in their minds. And the person now experiencing homelessness for the first time are so overwhelmed with fears and intimidation by everything they see in the world around them that they are nearly immobilized for not knowing exactly what they should be doing in their new environment. And the most common of all is the person who thinks they are experiencing a grand adventure by camping outdoors and traveling to see the wonders of the world without any obligation for how everyone else believes they should be living their lives. My parting words of caution goes out to such adventurers, because literally anything can happen to innocent people when a person with a criminal mind needs someone to victimize in ways unimaginable to the common citizen of our society. My parting message to the rest of our civilized world is that we may never succeed in ending extreme poverty completely, because it seems to coexist side by side with extreme prosperity as it has for thousands of years throughout history. But even if one life can be changed, we can change the world. And everyone's efforts is indeed worthwhile in building better cities for the future. This is the end of the narration for the story topic named at the beginning of this recording. Now I will list the other chapter titles and story topics as I have planned for the completion of my book. Chapter 1. A Stranger Became a Friend. A Homeless Man Named Pat. 8 pages. Chapter 2. A Plan Not a Dream. National Crusade to End Chronic Homelessness. 16 pages. This manuscript version is different than the short story read during the previous audio recording. Subtopics as follows: The original challenge, progress begins with prevention, behind closed doors and behind the scenes, and something to build upon. Chapter 3. My American Dream Traded In for a Pair of Muddy Boots. 18 pages. Subtopics as follows: Over the hill and through the woods. The kind of freedom I never imagined as a boy. I found the bottom I was looking for, and just like old times but with a new twist. Chapter 4. Please cut to the chase. Just explain why they are out there. 21 pages. Subtopics as follows: Every homeless situation is very unique. Why do I think I know so much? Personal ambition is just not enough. Rock bottom is much deeper than just being homeless. A formal shout-out to the average person on the streets. A formal shout-out to the rest of the working world, and a formal shout-out from a dark alley. Chapter 5. It's a free country. This land is your land. This land is my land. 17 pages. Subtopics as follows: See my sign, now pay me, please. See my hand, give me money. A beggar's reputation. I don't want new clothes. See my dog, have pity on me. See me homeless, give me a home, and waiting for the world to change. Chapter 6. The Homeless Advocate. My grass was very muddy on the other side. 21 pages. Subtopics as follows: Empathy versus sympathy. Homeless, not helpless. A marketplace for the advocate I had become. The most important lessons I learned as an advocate as follows. Number 1. Answer the question, why are you doing this? Number 2. Understand and explain the process of advocacy relating to your cause. Number 3. Identify exactly who and what you are advocating for by learning demographics. Number 4. Be prepared to accept responsibility for those being represented. Number 5. Know in advance that changing or creating laws is usually a very long process. And number 6. Research and pay close attention to how other advocates tend to succeed. Chapter 7. Life Skills, just as important as food, clothing, and shelter. 24 pages. Subtopics as follows. Universal truths about life skills. People say the homeless should just go out and get a job. Life skills in the workplace. A formal shout-out about a greater homeless dilemma. Personal willpower means the ability to make yourself take action and close that revolving door behind you.